All right, so here are the solutions to problems 11 through 20 on this semester 1 review for Algebra 1. All right, number 11, it says to evaluate for x equals 3 and y equals -4. So for letter A, we've got -2 times x plus 3y. We're going to substitute those values into the x and into the y, so that'd be -2, and then x is 3 plus 3 times -4. And change those into brackets since I've got parentheses in there. So first thing I'm going to do is work inside those brackets and do the multiplication in there. So that's going to be -2 times 3. And 3 times -4 is a -12. So that I'm going to do -12. And then 3 minus 12 is -9. And so then I multiply 2 times -9, which gives me 18. So the answer for 11A is 18. Okay, now let's look at 11B. So we're going to substitute those values into the x and the y, just like we did in A. Let me go ahead and change those into brackets because I'm going to plug in using parentheses. So that's going to be 2 times 3 minus 3 times -4. Okay, now we're going to work on our multiplication that's inside the brackets first. So that gives me 6. 2 times 3 is 6. And then right here I've got a -3 times a -4. -3 times -4 is a positive 12. And then I do 6 plus 12, which gives me 18. And then to multiply a whole number with a fraction, remember we take the whole number, we multiply it by the numerator and divide by the denominator. So we're going to do 18 times 5 divided by 6, and we get 15. All right, that's the final answer for 11B. Looking at number 12, which is an acceptable first property to solve the equation? So the first thing we would do here is we've got -2x equals 12. So we're going to divide by -2 on both sides. Okay, that is actually the multiplication property of equality. On 13, we would, on x plus 2 equals 12, on this one, we would subtract 2 on both sides, and that's actually the addition property of equality. Remember, the symmetric property is if you were to switch what's on the right side and the left side. So the symmetric property would say 12 equals x plus 2. All right, number 14, we are solving this problem. Our problem is 15 times x equals -2. So we're going to divide by 15 on both sides. Those cancel out, and notice we've got x equals -2 over 15. So our answer here would be B. All right, I believe this is 14B. So we've got 20 minus 3x equals 26. First thing we want to get rid of is that 20. To get rid of 20, we want to subtract 20 on both sides. Those will cancel out because 20 minus 20 gives us 0. Bring down a -3x equals 26 minus 20 gives us 6. Divide by -3. And x is equal to -2. So that gives us C. All right, letter C. On this one, the first thing we're going to do is combine like terms on the left side of the equal sign. So remember, whenever you're combining like terms, you do what it says. So 8x plus 2x gives us 10x, and then minus 3x will give us 7x. So I've got 7x plus 6 equals 20. Subtract 6 on both sides. And that leaves me with 7x equals 14. Divide by 7. And x equals 2. So that gives us A for letter C. And now moving on to D. First thing we need to do on this one is distribute that 3. Take that 3 and multiply it to both those terms in there. So that would give us 15x. And then 3 times negative 10 is a negative 30. So I write minus 30 equals 3x plus 12. Now we want to move the variables over to the left side. So in order to get rid of that 3x on the right side, I need to subtract 3x. Those are going to cancel out. That gives me 12x minus 30 equals 12. Add 30 to both sides. We get 12x equals 42. Divide by 12. And you'll see that it does not divide in evenly, but we can simplify that fraction. Notice that you can divide 42 and 12. You can divide both of those by 6. So we're simplifying the fraction here, and 42 divided by 6 gives me 7, and 12 divided by 6 gives me 2. So x equals 7 over 2. All right, letter E. On this one, notice that you've got two fractions equal to each other. Remember, those are called proportions. In order to solve proportions, you are going to cross multiply. So right here, we take this 3 and multiply it with x minus 6. And then write the equal sign and then do the other diagonal here. 12 times 2 gives us 24. So now we're going to distribute that 3 in there. So that gives us 3x minus 18 equals 24. Add 18 to both sides. And you get 3x equals 42. Divide both sides by 3. And x equals 14. So our answer for letter E is B. All right, number 15, solve each equation. So right here we've got 7x plus 1, minus 1. 7x minus 1 equals 27. So we're going to add 1 to both sides to get that variable all by itself. We've got 7x equals 28. Divide by 7. And x equals 4. So for letter A, you should have x equals 4. All right, looking at letter B. The first thing on letter B you need to do is to distribute. So that's going to be 8 times 5x, which gives us 40x. 8 times 2, which gives us 16. And then equals 27. Subtract 16 on both sides. Those are going to cancel out. We get 40x equals 11. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to divide by 40 on both sides. And x equals 11 over 40. All right, and then letter C. Letter C, we want to get rid of that plus 3 by subtracting 3 on both sides. That gives us C divided by 10 equals 20 minus 3 is 20. So now, remember, we have to do the inverse of dividing, which is multiplying. So we're going to multiply by 10 on both sides. Those will cancel out, and you get C equals 200. All right, letter D. Letter D here, the first thing we need to do is distribute that 4. So 4 times 2x gives us 8x. 4 times negative 7 gives us a negative 28, so minus 28 equals 8x minus 3. So remember, we want to move the variables onto one side, so I'm going to move them over to the left side. So I'm going to subtract 8x on both sides. When I subtract 8x, notice it cancels out here and it cancels out here. And then I'm left with negative 28 equals negative 3. Now we all know negative 28 does not equal negative 3, so this answer right here would be no solution. And remember, for no solution, you can also write the 0 with a slash through it. Okay, and you can also write the empty brackets. All of those mean, the empty braces, So all those mean no solution. Sorry about that. That right there are braces. Okay, next one, letter E, we're going to distribute here. So remember, we take our whole number 4, multiply it by the numerator, divide by the denominator. So 4 times 1 divided by 2 is 2x. Or you can also just say half of 4 is 2. And then 8 times 1 divided by 2 is 4, or half of 8 is 4. And then over here, we're going to distribute that 1/5. 15 times 1 divided by 5 is 3. Negative 20 times 1 divided by 5 is a negative 4x. Move the variables over to the left side. So to get rid of that minus 4x, we're going to add 4x to both sides. Those cancel out. That gives you 6x plus 4 equals 3. Subtract 4 on both sides. 3 minus 4 gives you negative 1. Divide both sides by 6. And we get x equals negative 1 over 6. So for letter E, our answer is x equals negative 1/6. All right, moving on to number 16. Which equation represents 2 pounds of nuts, which cost x dollars a pound? So that's going to be 2 times x, because it's x dollars a pound. Okay, and then 4 pounds of chocolates, which cost $3 a pound. So I need to multiply the 4 times the 3, and that gives us 12. And they're saying that the total cost of that is $20. So I set it equal to 20. And since it's the total cost of it, we're going to add those two together. So here are the 2x. Those are the nuts, and the 12, that is the price of the chocolates, the 4 pounds of chocolates. And you add it all together, and that gives you 20. So our answer here is C. Number 17. On 17, it says, Katie is twice as old as her sister Maria. So I'm going to write an equation for that. Katie, I'm going to put as K. Is, we know, means equals. Twice as old as her sister, not Maria, Mara. So twice as old as her sister Mara, that's going to be 2 times Mara, or 2m. Okay, so there's our first equation for that one. It says the sum of their ages is 24. So we know sum means to add. So if I add Katie's age with Mara's age, that's going to equal 24. And it says here, write a one variable equation. So they want us to write an equation with just one variable to represent the situation. So as you learned whenever we were solving systems of equations, you learned the substitution method. And so right here it says k equals 2m. So I can take this 2m, and instead of writing k in this equation, I can put 2m because we know that k equals 2m. So my new equation is going to be 2m plus m equals 24. And there's your equation for that. And if you want to simplify it, you could write 3m equals 24, but this would be a better representation of the situation. Number 18, Music Magic offers live streaming for $9.99 a month with downloads at 50 cents a song. You have $30 a month budgeted for this service. They've already come up with the equation for this. They're saying that the equation 0.5s plus $9.99 is 30 or equals 30, describes the situation. The solution to this equation is s equals 40.02. So we don't even need to solve it. They've already done that for us. So what they want us to do here is explain what this means. Okay, so what does this s mean? And what does s equals 40.02? So if we look here, the s represents the songs. It says 50 cents a song. So that means if we've got s equals 40.02, that you could download 40 songs. So you could download 40 songs. That's what that means in this situation. All right, number 19, we are solving here. And notice that we've got two fractions that are equal to each other. So once again, we call those proportions. And whenever we have that, to solve them, we cross multiply. So that we're going to take that 3 and multiply it with the y plus 6. Put an equal sign, and then 12 times 2 gives us 24. So now we distribute here. That gives us 3y plus 18 equals 24. Subtract 18 on both sides. So we get 3y equals 6. Divide by 3. And y equals 2. So our answer for 19 is C. Number 20. Same thing, we've got proportions here, so all we need to do is cross multiply. This one's also easy enough that you could probably just look at it and tell what the answer is. But if not, cross multiplying always works. 7 times r plus 2 equals, multiply this side, 35. Distribute, that gives you 7r plus 14 equals 35. Subtract 14 on both sides. 7r equals 21. Divide by 7. And r equals 3. And notice if you were to plug in that r back into our equation here, 3 plus 2 over 7, does that equal 5/7? Yes, it does. So we know that this is the correct answer. All right, that's it for problems 11 through 20 on the semester review. Hopefully you understand all of those. If you don't, please come see me in class and ask me. Thank you.